My Hero Academia Season 5. All I got is 3 words for you. What the fuck? Alright, man, we might as well start out where we left it off, right? Let's get into the review first, and then I'm gonna get into saying how I feel about it and then my ratings, okay? Because I know that some of y'all ain't seen it in a while. So let me refresh y'all memory, right? We open up, and it is the end of the Endeavor fight with the super cool Nomu, right? Hawk ends up, we see Hawk kind of betraying him, but then we can actually get the backstory on what's going on, right? Hawk is playing double agent, apparently. That's what they say. See, me, I got trust issues. Like real life, real life. Me rising in real life, I don't trust nothing. So like, I really think that he might be backstabbing the heroes playing the double part. I don't know what he's going on, right? So anyway, they say that he's a secret agent. He's really a hero betraying the villains. But long story short, he didn't kill Best Genius. He didn't almost kill Endeavor. He is hanging out with the League of Villains, like doing dirty work for them, all types of stuff. So I don't know what's going on. At this point, I really liked Hawk, and now I don't know if I can even root for the guy. He's a very smooth talker, very slick with his words, so he makes you want to like him. But because of that, I don't like him, right? Endeavor, he's trying to get good with his family. He's trying to make amends for, the wife, the kids, all that stuff, right? That's where he's at in life. He's trying to become a better guy, a better person. Because as humans, we do grow and mature and change who we are and how we were growing up, right? So he is kind of past the whole passing all might thing, and he's about being a better person, saving people, just being the best hero he can actually be, okay? What does this come at the expense of? I mean, it comes at the expense of kind of his like edge, his sharpness, but it gives him a lot of power, similar to like a Naruto in the I will protect everyone type of realm, right? Not to cross animes and cross reference, but if you know, you know. And the next thing that happens is Class 1A versus 1B, right? Class 1A, Class 1B. How does it work? Essentially, you have these little balls here, right? There are 5 teams, 5 for Class 1A, 5 for Class 1B, right? That puts 4 on each team because it's 20 people per class. There is also a caveat in there. This guy right here who has the ability to brainwash. He has the ability to brainwash. He joins one class for one team for 2 rounds, right? So essentially each round is going to be 4 on 4, except there are 2 rounds where it's a 5 on 4, right? So this gives the advantage obviously to the team with 5. How they do it is you just have to capture the other team and put them in a jail, or have the most amount of people in jail when the timer runs out. Okay, that's the ways that you win. It ain't too much crazy stuff going on in this arc right here, right? The main thing is you see a lot of character development, you see growth, you see different matchups and meshes of people and what they've learned during their shadowing time with the heroes. Bakugo has taken a big step forward, as we see here. His team won a sweep 5-0 or 4-0. I'm sorry, they won 4-0, right? All in all, Class 1A won. I think the record was Class 1A won 3 of the matches, Class 1B won 1 match, and then there was a draw in another match, right? So this is kind of to be expected. Class 1A was always going to win, being that they are the Class 1A. Now, Class 1B did put up some formidable fights. And again, like I said, it's character development. You got to see some of the characters you don't usually get to see. But with that being said, there is one big thing that happens. Deku gets this new ability called Black Whip. Now, what is Black Whip? We ain't talking about slaves. We are talking about the ability to shoot out strands of, energy and grab stuff around you. You can use it as a swing. You can use it as a detainer. You can use it as, a capture maneuver, anything like that. We really don't have too much background on it. But the power manifested while he was talking to the past owner of it in All for One. One for All for One. I always get those two. One for All, right? So he did it during One for All, right? It's a past user of One for All's ability. He talks with this user. Now, All Might says that he has never had the ability to talk with past users. So this is new for Midoriya, right? Deku is breaking into barriers that we have never once known. And that's kind of the most important thing on this arc, right? Nice little arc. You get to see some good fights, some good strategies, great teamwork, character development, especially of the other classes who are going to play a role coming up, right? Next up, they don't have it on this website, but it is the hero internships, right? All students were required to do an internship with a hero. Deku, Kachan, and Todoroki do theirs with Endeavor. During this, he tells them, your mission is to capture one villain during this internship before I can get there and capture them, right? That is what he challenges. 3 of them versus 1 of him. And in the first villain that they gets called, he saves the villain. It's a lady, I think gets knocked over or something. But Hawks comes and whiffs them away or whatever. Whatever it is, Hawks gets involved before the 3 of them can. So it's Endeavor and Hawks. Hawks takes the time out to introduce Endeavor to his book, The Meta Liberation War. Okay, now what is this book? This book is talking about the Meta Liberation War that happened years ago, I guess 20, 30 years ago, however long ago, where basically people tried to get rid of the hero society and just let whatever quirks kind of just run wild. If you have powerful quirks, you would just be at the top. If you had lesser ones, you would be at the bottom, and it's just kind of an anarchy civilization. Apparently, it's making a little bit of a comeback, right? So this is all setting up for later in the season, okay? Anyway, Hawks does this, and then he dips out doing his normal Hawk things. Again, I don't trust this guy, okay? I do not trust him. Just saying, I don't trust him. Endeavor takes the book, he reads Hawk's heed. Apparently, Hawk is giving him, messages, some code and stuff like that, right? Endeavor ends up figuring it out, and because of him figuring it out, he actually decides to train the 3 of the high schoolers who are with him, right? He takes the time out, he works with them, he talks to them, he actually kind of coaches them up on missions and stuff like that. That way they actually get stronger, because Hawks is telling him, look, it's a war coming on soon, and we need everybody who can fight to be prepared and at their best, because there's a whole lot of people on that other side who we gonna have to go up against. So the more help we could get, the better off that we will be, right? Another thing that happens is Endeavor kind of, I guess, amends things with his family. Like I said, he's taking on a new leave. He's trying to amend things. His daughter forgives him. Todoroki is starting to forgive him, and his other son just ain't. Honestly, he saved his son's life. His son still just ain't. Oh, we find out that Nomu are actually people from the past who have died, right? So, like they were trying to figure out, they figured out that Nomu were using other people's quirks or using multiple quirks somehow, but they comes to find out they are actually people from the past who they have died and regenerated their body and a little bit of their quirks and a lot of their personality, but into soldiers for the purpose of All for One. This is kind of at the hands of a mad scientist who helps out All for One on all of his things and just is like sticking by his side, right? So moving on, this guy named Redestro waging war on the League of Villains via his army, the Meta Liberation Army, right? So what happens here? Short and simple. This guy Redestro, he's the son of Destro, who was the first leader of the Meta Liberation Army, who started the war way back when that the book was written about, right? He comes back and he's like, I see the error of my father's ways and I know how I can fix it to take control of this world. So he's kind of backing. He got a big ass following, a whole lot of money, and he's not afraid to spend it and use it. The guy in the back is Girin. He is a worker of the League of Villains. He has cut up his fingers. He has plucked off fingernails. He has tortured and tormented this guy in ways that you can't even imagine in order to provoke the League of Villains. And he says, look, League of Villains, either y'all come here to this city right now, or I'm going to kill Girin and I'm going to drop the low to y'all out in the mountains, out in the woods, to all the heroes, and they're going to be on y'all tail, and then what y'all going to do? So what are League of Villains doing in the mountains? It's simple. They're trying to get this guy on their side. Gigantic guy, right? Let's just call him Gigantic guy, because I don't remember his name. But he's a giant guy. So Gigantic guy, he was like a super loyal, the number one loyal follower of All for One, right? He's the size of a mountain, apparently. And he has super enhanced smell, hearing, strength, all this other stuff. And he does not recognize Tomura as the new leader of All for One's purpose, the new leader of the League of Villains. So what does he do? He fights Tomura. He says, if you want me to be a follower of you, you're going to have to show me something. So they get pulled out of there by the scientist. I forgot the scientist's name, but he got teleportation powers apparently. Because why wouldn't he, right? So anyway, he teleports him. He shows off a bunch of Nomu. He like, look, Tomura, you know who I am. I will let you have all of these Nomus at your dispense if you can get Gigantoguy on your side, right? So Tomura says, bet. So you go back, he fights Gigantoguy, bow, 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 bow. And then he's like, I got to win because that's the only way I will be recognized as the leader of the League of Villains, right? Tomura, by the way, is the grandson of a past predecessor of One For All. He hates heroes because his father abused him as a child and he ended up killing his entire family. I don't know how that correlates, but apparently it does. And then All For One is the one who found him, took him into his heat, and then ended up turning him into who he is pretty much now, right? Okay, so back to the story. Let me sum this all up for y'all right here. All right, the League of Villains sees it like this. We're going to go in there and we're going to fight the Meta Liberation Army, right? We're going to do is basically just use that as a way to set Gigantoguy to come and follow to fight Tomura because he finds him wherever he goes. And when he finds them, the Meta Liberation Army is going to fight Gigantoguy. Gigantoguy is going to take them out. They're going to tire Gigantoguy out. And then Tomura is going to go ahead and kill, or not kill, but earn the respect of Gigantoguy by beating him then, right? That's the plan. It doesn't exactly go as according to his plan. Because like I said, he has an entire city at his disposal, right? Redestro has a bunch of power at his disposal. He also has a super crazy quirk himself, and that allows him to use the stress that he's built up and use it into super strength and power and all this other stuff. So he goes head to head with Tomura after twice splits into a million different people and fights off the rest of the guys, right? Again, crazy stuff going on. It's a lot to unpack, but I'm trying to do my best I can. All right, so he ends up fighting Redestro. Redestro, in front of his entire stance, gets taken down to his knees. I don't know why I sung that, but Redestro gets taken down to his knees, okay? What does that do? That lets him recognize that Tomura is stronger, and he realizes that the League of Villains doesn't actually want to get rid of quirks. They just want to get rid of heroes. They don't care about the anarchy and chaos. So he says, y'all, I know I've been y'all leader, but this guy Tomura is your new leader. So he hands off the entire disposal of the Meta Liberation Army to the League of Villains. By doing that, he allows the League of Villains a lot more resources, money, power, and they're just able to manipulate a lot more things. They're able to move. They have a lot more freedom and resources with this. Right here is where they decide that the new name is going to be the Paranormal Liberation Army, right? Paranormal Liberation Army. It's something like that. And this is basically a combination of the League of Villains and the Meta Liberation Army, right? Combined together, and you got some people who want to take out the heroes. What is this sounding like? Sounded like some shit. That's what it sounded like. Because it sounds like these heroes got two people who were trying to go at them to get them taken gone. And now they're using each other to have even more power to fight against the heroes. And plus you got All Might taken out of it. You got Deku trying to learn the powers. You got Endeavor trying to find his way. It's a whole lot. We don't know if we could trust Hulk or not. He killed Best Jeanist, the number 4 hero. What is going on, right? And this is kind of where it leaves us off at. Actually, I lie, because it gives us one more caveat. The heroes get the drop on where the Paranormal Liberation Front is, and they decide we're going to attack before they attack us. How do they do this? By going ahead and sending out 2 different teams, right? Boom, boom, and they get ready to fight. And that's where we leave off for season 6. How am I feeling after watching all this? So I guess we got to go over the pros and cons, right? So a couple of pros, things that I liked about the series, right? A lot of setup. Great background story and knowledge, especially with the My Villain Academia arc, right? It shows us why the villains are villains. What else did I like? I like I said, the character development. I like the matchup, showing us the growth of the characters and their new powers and how they fight and new different things like that. What I didn't like is I can't really tell what is going on, like in what places and times, right? Like it's like 1 month ago, and then it's like 1 month from 1 month ago, and then it's like 2 days before, and it's like, where am I at in space and time? I didn't really like that. There wasn't really much prevalent action. Like I said, it's all a lot of background stuff and like behind the scenes stuff, kind of setting it up. I'm not sure if they did this on purpose or if this was like oh shoot, let me retrace my steps to kind of set this up a little bit better. But all in all, I like the season, right? But I like the season because I like where it is going, not what happened. So with that being said, I would have to rate this season a solid 6.2 out of 10. Why? Because like I said, it set us up for season 6, but as a season 5 is very mid in itself. Like if we were just to take it and condense it to season 5, it would be like a type of show, if I'm being honest. If you hate me, you hate me. I'm sorry. But I'm also thinking I might have to do this episode by episode for season 6 because goodness Lord, this might be a lot to unpack. But I still got to catch up because I heard season 7 dropping soon. So look, it been your boy Ryzen. Out! Peace.